Hey guys, this is Shaft, and welcome to part 2 of tonight's cast. We're actually doing a TriCast tonight. Yes, that is a TriCast. Tonight with me is my friend Matt from Sensory Gaming. Hi, how are you?
Doing well, man. So far, we had a really good replay. Looking forward to this one.
Absolutely, dude. I almost called it sensual gaming.
We are kind of sensual.
Indeed, sir, indeed. You should see that picture they made. Anyway, moving on. With us also is my good friend and pro player, caster up and becoming. His name is White Wing. White Wing, how are you?
I'm fairly well. Joining this TriCast because I'm a tryhard.
Okay, actually, someone called me that before. I thought it was an insult. What, is that a good thing?
A tryhard is somebody who tries too hard at things that don't matter. That's
Okay, yeah, okay, so it was an insult. Gotcha. Alright, I'm with you now. Moving on. Let's go ahead and hop right on into this game here, guys. It looks like we're going to get this started at the 1 minute mark, so if everybody is there... That's a
I am
question.
there.
Okie doke. We're going to go ahead and hop in 3, 2, 1, go. Here on the bottom left-hand side of Daybreak, we have the Protoss player for StarCraft 2, Strategy.com, Stuzh. And on the top right-hand corner, we have the mysterious and enigmatic green Zergy player. It is Barcode. Now, there's a little bit of a story here about Barcode, and I feel happy to tell you guys about it. Okay, so this replay is sent to me. Guy who sends it, Llama, says, I think this is Helsod, but I'm not really sure. So we go ahead and we ask Helsod. He doesn't have a Barcode account. Well, the game said Tyrannus in the actual replay. So the fact that it's a green Zerg, we're going to call him Tyrannus, and if anyone knows better, please point it out in the comments. But for now, this is Tyrannus. Hi, Tyrannus, how you doing? Wave at us. Thank you. Okay, now back to the Protoss.
Call him Tyrannosaurus Rex because he's green.
Yeah.
No, man, Tyrannus is that. Isn't Tyrannus that character from that really bad Star Wars prequel, also known as Count Dooku or something like that? Isn't that?
Maybe. I don't know, but Protoss is doing a pretty good job.
Ooh.
Oh, wow,
That was key there. I mean, he wasn't able to get it off completely, but that was a good second, stop.
Yeah, it was a couple of seconds, but it could have been much, much better. Stuzh giving us the frowny face.
And then the happy face. Oh, bad manner.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Now, the Nexus did come down before the Forge. He's getting his gateway at this point. So this is a pretty greedy build here by Stuzh. He's loving this position.
Oh, he's in a fairly good shape. This is pretty standard now. He's also getting the gateway before waiting for the cannon, which means he's very unconcerned about a Zergling attack.
Exactly. Well, he has seen the pull timing, hasn't he?
I'm not certain that he did, because no, he didn't actually see the pull at all.
Wow.
He just went straight to block the hatch. If you with this build, if you go straight to block the hatch, if you go in to see the pull timing, you actually miss the block on the hatch.
Oh, wow, okay. What was this, 9 scout, 10 scout?
With a Nexus first, you ordinarily do a 9 scout.
Okay, and that will miss the block on the hatch?
It can if they're doing something like a hatch first, which you can't punish with unless you go forge first.
Absolutely, and we do have the third coming at a pretty standard timing now.
Stuzh will see that.
Yep. So this game is coming out to a pretty normal build. Really, we're waiting on the Cyber Core to finish before we're going to see anything deviating from the standard. General, ZVP thoughts?
Usually for the Protoss player, you're going to see like what we see right here. You're going to see the Forge Fast Expand. If I'm not mistaken, it's the most common, if not the main opening against the Zerg player, and a lot of times the Zerg player does respond with that Roachling all-in.
Roachling all-ins certainly do occasionally occur, especially on the latter games.
This is big right here. Look at the second base. Look at those 3 idle probes.
Oh, that hurts. His
Yeah.
rallies. Yeah, his rally is off.
Go ahead, fixing that.
Roachling all-in definitely does occur sometimes, and it is a bit nasty if they don't scout it coming. It's gotten a lot less common because typically Stefano-esque 3-base max Roach attacks, especially on this map in particular, are just a bit stronger of an attack, especially if they try to take a third base. And we see a Stargate coming down right now.
Okay, so do you think this is going to be a Stargate expand build, or is this going to be a more committed attack?
There are really only two builds, right? Really only two things you can do out of a Stargate right now that really seem to work, and it's always a Phoenix opener. And it's usually either a Phoenix harass into a sentry-based expansion to a third, or you can do a Phoenix harass into actually a Sentry Immortal all-in, which, although it comes later and Infestors can be out, Phoenix can actually lift all the Infestors up.
Now, how do you feel about Void Rays?
They're very rare nowadays because Zergs have gotten very, very good at defending them.
Definitely, and as you called, the Phoenix will come out here. We do have that Roach Warren on the way, and right now, it's just, you know, we're going to see very standard openings from both players in the ZVP matchup.
Absolutely. Now, what is the danger timing? Would you say it's about 10, 11 minutes, or is it going to be a little earlier with it being Protoss?
It really depends on who you're referring to. Typically, the danger period for Zerg is anytime between 8 to 12 minutes. Now that he's seen the Phoenix, he reveals it immediately to kill that Overlord. He's not really going to be too concerned about an all-in coming early. So he's just going to go into crisis mode to deal with the Phoenix, and then he's just going to go back to droning.
We are going to have a little bit of Kite the Zerglings right here. The Zealot is just going to... They're actually targeting that Stalker. They're going to turn and get the surround. No, they're not. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're actually... Yeah, they were more trying to get the surround by overrunning that Zealot rather than just attack clicking on it.
We have a supply-capped Zerg.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it looks like he's going to send the Phoenix in to take out this Overlord, which is going to continue supply capping the Zerg, but he's got 4 Overlords completing and 3 more on the way, so he's going to be completely prepared for any Overlords that die on the map.
He's going to get in here before, if he pushes now, there are no Spore Crawlers on the field.
Oh, 3 just finished.
Yeah.
He does only have 1 in that middle base. The Queen, though, going to pick that up a little bit. And he's going to probably have to fall back from this.
I like how he's targeting down a single drone in that extractor. It's very possible that the barcode may not notice this.
Yeah.
And 5 workers picked off there.
The one thing about that defense that is so key is the Spore Crawlers were very well timed, because even though he didn't get them until after he'd lost some drones, Stuzh didn't quite have the 4 Phoenix he needed at his opponent's base. He had to kill the Queen. You need 4 to kill the Queen and 1 left. So as long as the Spore Crawler kills behind that, you're actually okay. Because unless Protoss kills Queens, they're even with a few drone kills here and there, they're usually behind with a Phoenix opener.
Okay.
We're going to have the Void Ray come out here and the Pathogen Glands Infestor play. If you look up at the Protoss third, though, that Overlord did spread some creep there. That's going to stall that expansion.
Absolutely. Now, the creep is kind of lacking for Barcode here. Is that because he's going Roach Infestor, or is it just because of the constant harassment?
It's mostly because he only built the 3 Queens. He doesn't have a spare one to spread creep.
Okay.
And he's using them all for injects.
Fair point. Fair point. Alright, so, where's this game going to go from here? We've already got Infestors on the way, so is Barcode just going to bunker down, spine up, and try to get out Broodlords, or are we going to see some more creative play out of him?
Well, since he's getting the melee upgrades right now, and he's already got Roaches on the field and isn't making Zerglings, that tells me that that upgrade is going to be for the Broodlings later. So it almost certainly will be Infestor Broodlord.
The Protoss player picks up the Twilight Council and the Robotics Bay, so we're probably going to see that Colossus come back into play in this match, and we probably might even see some High Templars for the Storms. And the feedback as well.
Yeah, Archon's probably also going to be a possibility, especially when Broodlords start coming up. Ultimately, he's going to want to transition into that Mothership Archon toilet.
Yeah, getting Blink on the Stalkers as well, to blink underneath the Broodlords will be a key for those fights as well.
You can see just how much pressure these Phoenix are putting on Zerg here. He's actually, while they don't really do much of a good job of actually preventing Zerg from moving out of the map necessarily, that Void Ray is taking that role right now. If he attempts to take a 4th base, which he's doing right now, and Stuzh notices it, he can park the Void Ray right there and start shooting at it, and if any Queens come to help defend it, the Phoenix will just kill them.
Looking up at the 3rd base here, the Roach is going to find this front wall and get pushed back.
Absolutely. Now, I'm a little bit worried right now because Stuzh is actually catching up in supply here, and as soon as he can, you know, reestablish himself onto a fourth base, this is going to get real bad for the Zerg really quickly. This is a very small map, so counterattacks are only going to be so effective.
We're going to have the barcode pick up that fourth. Do you think that's a smart decision right now?
Absolutely. You want to, as Zerg, if possible, you want to try to stay a base up on Protoss. While going Broodlord Infestor, it's not strictly necessary because of how cost-efficient your army is, but it's still extremely helpful, especially since you want to put that spine wall at these chokes.
Now, he is actually delaying that spine wall quite a bit. He's floating 2,700 minerals. What do you think's going on here?
Well, he made a very large amount of drones. He was up to 85. He was up over 85 there for a minute there. He just made a lot of drones. He's saving up money. He's banking a little bit so he can get his Broodlords out. And he's just going to build a whole bunch of spine crawlers all at once.
Oh, okay. He's not actually vulnerable right now?
Well, Stuzh is taking a fourth base at the moment. He only has the one Colossus. Looking at his army right now, pure Roach, without even the Infestors, and he has the Infestors, really could deal with this army reasonably well.
Okay, fair enough.
Something I noticed, that Spire didn't drop until after the Hive Tech was done, and as you're probably aware, it does take quite a good deal of time to get the Greater Spire. You know, that'll be that much more time he has to wait for those Broodlords to come out on the field, if he does choose to go that.
It's curious that he's adding on Adrenal Gland so early here. He is getting the Greater Spire, so I was right earlier when I said Broodlords. Very possible going to set up an Ultralisk switch at some point.
Fair enough, dude. I'm actually a little bit concerned. This is a really... I don't know, man. As a Zerg player, I'm kind of just terrified for Barcode, man.
Barcode using the Changeling, he does see the entirety of that Protoss ball, but will it be a little too late here? They're going to have an engagement.
Okay, so a little late on throwing down Infested Terran. Okay, there we go, finally coming out. And it looks like Stuzh is about to lose all of his Phoenix to Fungals. Oh, wow. So that's actually a little bit sloppy there. He got clumped up, lost a lot of his sentries as well. Now the Colossi are still alive. But, yeah, Barcode holding that off like a pro. I guess I shouldn't have been concerned.
That's going to be, he did pick off 26 of those Protoss units there. The Archon Morph coming out here. Again, great Fungal catching that. Corruptors on the way.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here is that the Green Zerg was maxed out, and our Protoss player really wasn't at the time. He was trying to go for a timing because he was concerned that Broodlord Rush was coming, which is very standard the matchup, and he wanted to try to get in there before the Broodlords are out. But Green Zerg wasn't rushing.
Right. A lot of mining time actually being lost here at the Protoss third. I'm a little bit concerned that one weakened Roach is doing this much damage.
And he is going to react to that. However, how much time do you think was actually lost there?
At least 30 seconds.
Probably, yeah, with all that probe, that's a ton of money lost.
Yeah.
Especially since that Roach is now going to pick up a couple kills.
Absolutely. If you could put that amount of money into into a number, how many would you say?
I mean, 16. Assuming let's count the probes. It's about 19. Probably about 1,000 minerals.
Wow.
What that looked like to me there was he kind of just forgot to micro and got lazy. And the Fleet Beacon coming down here, you think we're going to see that mothership come out for the Archon toilet?
Absolutely. It's the only way that Protoss can actually directly engage this army. He's going to try to do these. He's going to try to do these Zealot run-bys constantly because he wants to try to pick a Zerg apart, damage his economy, hurt his tech, as much as possible. Try to force Zerg to go all in and attack into the Protoss army, where he can get a very choice forecast.
And these Infestors are alone here. They only have the Broodlords with them, though.
Oh, but he's got some Spine Crawler there.
Quite a bit of Broodlords here. The Fungal comes down. Some Infested Terran drop.
I really don't like how he's not putting out more Infested Terran.
After the recent nerf to Infested Terran, it's oftentimes a little bit wiser to save it for fungal growth, because at high upgrades, the Infested Terrans just don't do any damage.
Gotcha. Okay. Is that why players are getting fewer and fewer Infestors?
That is why they're getting fewer and fewer infestors. Stuzh was a little bit impatient there to actually make that attack. He didn't really have the mothership out. He was attacking into a well-fortified position.
Yeah, I feel like, he's been ahead this whole game, but he's slowly kind of giving that advantage back to the Zerg, who is actually now making a second Spire for double upgrades. This is going to be insane.
Yeah, he's getting that.
Lords are going to harass that.
He's getting that +3 melee upgrade too, so his broodlings are going to be doing a ton of damage.
Absolutely.
Mothership not over half yet. More Zealot's going to come out here, and the broodling harass is just going to be too strong.
Yeah, this is actually looking like a checkmate. Stuzh is at that 200 army, but like you mentioned, he's only halfway there with the mothership. Over the broodlord's a little bit overextended there. Two of them getting targeted down, but some good fungals. Roaches are there to absorb some damage as well.
He did a great job there. He blinked right onto that army. The Colossus, of course, going to fall here, but at the price of these broodlords and these infestors, as well as all of those roaches.
Ooh, and the infestors getting blinked on there as well. So all of the tech has been reset for the Zerg here. Wow. Now he's making 60 lings. This is going to help him deal with the Stalkers. However, I'm curious to see how he's going to deal with this mothership with just lings.
Definitely. If the Zerg player doesn't bring an Overseer with the army, he will have a 0 detection of that.
And the big thing about mothership is if you can get a good neural parasite off, you can actually bring it into your own army and just kill it off there. However, we're not seeing neural parasite here for the Zerg player yet.
So that
I'm very glad you brought that up, because that's actually really the only way that Zerg can directly engage that army once the mothership is out. It turns kind of into a little bit of a game of chicken, with neither player wanting to be the one to attack, but both players wanting to harass.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Lings coming in behind here. They're going to run right into the natural base.
Oh yeah, it's not
They're
looking
gonna
good
split.
here. Now he should split off into the third here at 2248. Okay, and there's the split. We've got some probes getting targeted down, but he's actually fighting the cannon. That's not what he wants to do, especially with the Colossi already in position. Looks like Star Coloss are going to show up as well. This is going to turn into more of a Ling scout. However, by burrowing, he's hoping Stuzh will forget that they're there, but Stuzh may just bring an observer over.
And
Either
he
will
cleans up that third.
So he did spread Stuzh out quite a bit there. Unfortunately, Protoss is not the most mobile of races.
Let's get the units tab.
He got the third base.
4 corruptors, 8 more on the way.
Alright guys, and just to resync, let's go ahead and pause this at 24 minutes. I think the replay's
got a little bit behind there, yeah.
Let me make sure I get exactly at 4 or
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, sounds like we were getting a little unsynced. That's fairly common in a
Okay.
longer game.
So let's recap what's happened so far.
Absolutely.
What we've seen is a tug of war happen, literally between the two bases in the middle here. While the Zerg player had the advantage there, because the Protoss player was being so aggressive, we saw that great Stalker micro come out, destroy the Infestors, destroy that entire Zerg army, and that's allowed him to have that mothership out now. And as we talked about before, there is no neural parasite. The Archon is going to happen most likely, and while the game's still up in the air here, it's kind of looking like it is in the Protoss favor until that point where that third base was picked off.
And there's something I'd like to point out. We actually have +2 flyer attack on the way. Now, of course, this is obviously for Broodlords, but it's going to pay off real well here for these 8 Corruptors about to pop, as they're going to be able to quickly target down the mothership, even though he doesn't have Neural Parasite. If the mothership is left behind in a hasty retreat, which is actually a lot more common than you'd think, any moment of weakness those Corruptors can take advantage of, and it's just going to be a brief moment because of this +2.
Not to mention the Infestors as well can do a great job at attacking that mothership. They can fungal it and they can drop the Terran.
Alright, so is everybody synced up now?
I
All
am.
set.
Alright, well let's get this unpaused in 3, 2, 1, goesies. Alright, so we did go ahead and recap everything. What are your predictions for this match now?
It's really going to come down to which player is willing to be more patient and defend a little bit better. Neither player wants to attack into the other because that'll cede the defender's advantage to your opponent. And both of these armies are entirely positioning-based armies. The Mothership is the core of the Protoss army, very, very slow unit. The Broodlords are the core of the Zerg army, very, very slow unit. So they both want to be in a entrenched position before the fight starts.
Absolutely, and it looks like Stuzh is going to be the more impatient one. This is turning out to be a theme in this game. Let's see if it turns to his advantage here.
He does snipe 3 creep tumors there.
And he's just going ahead back. He hasn't actually lost anything yet, except a little bit of health on the Stalker. Not really too big of a deal, and like you mentioned, those 3 creep tumors will pay off in the long run.
And the Zealot push coming again towards that base at the bottom. He's actually going to pull those up, I think, and those Broodlords will find him immediately.
Not to mention a Ling counterattack to the 4th. However, these 3 cannons are in position. So you can go ahead and target down the Nexus. How important would you say static defense is right now?
Extremely important. Neither player is able to move their army out of the middle of the map. If either player moves the core of their army out of the middle, it's going to leave them wide open to a push from their opponent, and it's going to, even though their armies are so slow, it's going to give their opponent the ability to set up an entrenched position on offense and basically force a forfeit of the defender's advantage.
I think the game has answered my question. Look here in the bottom right, the Zealot attack, no static defense, and it has wrecked this base. Now, this is a nice little trick, hiding all of his drones in the extractor. It makes it harder to target down an individual drone.
We do have that Warp Prism down there as well.
So he's just going to keep warping in Zealot after Zealot after Zealot until it's either force an overreaction, with the army going out of position, which is what we see they're doing.
It's forced these Broodlords to come down.
He's very smart though to only send some of the Broodlords and not all of them.
Yeah, he did leave, looks like 2 in with his main army, as well as 2 morphing.
And the Zerg player pushing out, spreading these creep tumors.
The issue is he hasn't killed off this Warp Prism. He really needs to split off like 4 Corruptors just to hunt that down.
Carriers are going to arrive.
This is a fantastic map for that carrier transition.
Yeah, and really Zerg doesn't have a follow-up to carriers. You have to stop the Protoss before it gets to that point.
As long as he's not sacrificing too much supply and getting up to,
And we're going to have an
6
engagement.
to 8 carriers.
Broodlords coming out over the top here. Again, they're not anti-air though. Zerglings going to get cleaned up immediately, and Zerg player kind of holding the high ground right here.
Yeah, he's on creep. That's really what he wants to do. He can't run too far past that.
So again, both players, Stuzh maxed out here. He can only get 1 carrier out with some interceptors. He's going to grab that Psionic Storm.
This is coming into a positional game of chess.
It's really how this matchup tends to play out. When both players are going for this type of when Zerg tends to go for this type of composition, and it's a very, very potent and powerful style because it's very hard to punish.
Yeah, and even if you can punish it, like if both players lost their army right now, with the banks they have, they're both going to remax it very, very quickly.
And
Stuzh's going to take that base up there.
Yeah, those 2 bases are going to basically, at this point, going to be the key to the matchup. By taking those bases, you can force your opponent out of position.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like the Broodlords are actually caught out of position here, but it's not a big army here for Stuzh.
Stuzh kind of just sacrificing supply there, it looks like.
Yeah, he's trying to make some more carriers.
And we're going to have an engagement here. The Corruptors are going to get focused down first. They are a key component here. He's going to Vortex off one side of them.
Yeah, he's going ahead taking off the carriers. This is the first he's seen of them. Now the Broodlords do fall to the Vortex. He's sending Archons in there. He's got to be careful to throw in some Infested Terran to spread out the damage.
We're going to see there actually, the Mothership went down. He was able to kill that. Archon's doing their best. More
I think
Stalkers.
he's killed the Mothership as well.
He killed that Mothership towards the beginning of the fight. That carrier living on a prayer right now.
Awesome, but the Broodlords have mostly stayed alive. Really good position there with the Infested Terran, but the Broodlords are getting targeted down in this chase, and he's left the carrier alive with 1 health.
And corrupted.
Yeah, definitely, the Archon
Fungal
blow
Growth goes off, it's holding the death of that carrier.
Archon blow is such a good play in that situation.
Absolutely, but the majority of the army here for Stuzh with Stalkers, and they seem to do really, really well against Infestors.
But not so well with the Zerg, especially not so well against those spine crawlers.
Something happening right now. Look at the bottom right. The Zealots, while that push happened, warped in and wipe that out. The Spores, or I'm sorry, the Corruptor is going to clean up the Warp Prison though.
The key here is that Stuzh has a ton of warp gates, and Zerg doesn't have the larva bank anymore. He can't keep up with the Protoss production at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Stuzh actually several bases ahead at this point.
You should transition straight into that carrier play.
Yep, carrier zealot for the win, it's looking like.
I don't think we actually will see another mothership coming out here.
This carrier play is a bit risky as a transition because of how many Corruptors are on the field.
Looks like we'll have another engagement.
He may not anticipate him to continue motion
He is going to rebuild the mothership. What we saw happen there, though, Corruptors pushed down the Stalker and the Storm, smacked them right away. And the Zerg player will take that last remaining base on the map, and we're going to have Lings attack this top base.
I'm hoping for a whole map mined out game.
Oh, they got the base. That hurts pretty badly at this point. Because those are really the only two, long-term sources of income on the map. Zerg's completely mined out except for the two south bases.
Yep. So he really needs to go ahead and send these drones down there, as well as most of his army once he finishes up this attack.
Oh, great blink right underneath those Warlords and the Corruptors.
Wow. Look at the carnage on screen right now. Nice little blink right onto those Infestors as well.
An important thing to watch what just happened there. While the Stalkers were focusing down the Infestors with Broodlords, Corruptors microed onto the carriers, wiped all of them out.
Oh, ouch.
That was actually 4 carriers lost. That's quite a bit of bang.
Alright, and it looks like a nice little cleaning up the rest of the Corruptors. Barcode is down quite a bit of supply. He's making 22 lanes, but Zealots do really well against them.
They do indeed. That play with Stuzh is just very intelligent. Transitioning to Mass Stalker actually forced a ton of Corruptors to deal with the carriers.
This upper base is going to be cleaned up here.
No.
Or no, the Zealots are going to stop it.
8 spines are on the way at this southwest, or actually that's the east, my bad, southeast base of Barcode.
And that mothership does come back out.
Wow, this Nexus is so close to death right now.
Hero Nexus.
Being harassed. It's gonna fall at about 35-28. The Nexus will fall.
Well, we're at 35-15 right now.
Oh, he's gonna try to get the forward shields, but it's just not enough.
Yeah. Wow. So Ling's going ahead, charging down most of the probes here, and some more probes getting killed off. Mothership finally out into the army again, but it's not going to help these probes very much. Ling's continuing to kill off the probes. He doesn't mind losing the rings as long as he can kill off some probes for it.
Yeah, I feel almost like Stuzh is a little bit scared to push out right now. It doesn't quite understand his supply advantage.
Right, and this may actually work out to Barcode's advantage, in fact, allowing him a small window to get back into this game.
Yeah, the big thing is he hasn't really had an opportunity to mine from that south base yet. He's just now getting drones there at all.
Yep.
He's gonna... And here comes the slow spine crawler walk of doom.
Indeed, sir. And they are about to plant their fat, happy asses right into that creep.
Always remind me of crabs for some reason.
Yeah, they kind of burn a little bit. I got you.
Scuttle, scuttle.
And we're gonna have an engagement on that.
Wow. He blinks the Stalkers right on into the spine crawler wall. I'm not sure what that was about, but the Zealots are coming in and going to do a very good job cleaning that up. Broodlords are in position, however, so he's going to go ahead and bungle the Stalkers, hoping he can keep them off the Broodlords. It does not work, however, and the Broodlords are getting targeted down as well as the Infestors. He's not single targeting the Broodlords, however. He does go ahead and vortex that mothership about to fall to Corruptors. Takes out the mothership right as he loses that last Corruptor.
So close. What a clutch kill there.
Yeah.
It does not look like Zerg can recover as well from this.
And the Broodlords go down to the Archons. Ouch. At half the supply of his opponent, I absolutely agree with you. Now, he is going to stay in this game. I don't blame him for trying. He's sending the Lings into this base yet again. He says, I don't care if you have cannons, I'm just going to attack your Nexus. Oh, nice little hold position micro by the Probes. And you can go ahead and target down the Nexus as the Probes give up.
Adrenal gland Lings are pretty good.
Absolutely.
Is he gonna... Oh, those force fields, is he gonna...
Ooh, so close, so close. Ah! Nope, not this time. Now he is going to go ahead and seek his revenge, and the GG well played drop by the Zerg we think is named Tyrannus.
So really, the Archon toilet saving the day there.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. What do you think was really, like, what finally won it there for Stuzh?
It wasn't so much a question of finally winning it, so much as eking out small edges throughout the game into kind of an overwhelming advantage. A number of those engagements, they went back and forth a little bit donating units, but the really big one was that big push in the middle of the game, across the middle, where essentially he got a very carefully placed blink right on top of the army before the Infestors got any fungals. And the Infestors are not there really to deal damage, so much as they are to lock units down and prevent them from shooting the Broodlords until you get a good, like, Broodling count out.
Right. That makes perfect sense. And once the Broodling count comes out, what do the Infestors do at that point?
Well, they just continue to do their thing, but they're not as important at that point because the Broodlings are going to be tearing the Stalkers apart and really just getting in the way.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I think that was a really awesome play there by Stuzh. Really good example of how to play Protoss in this matchup. Guys, I thank you for joining us today, as well as the viewer for tuning in. We'll be moving on into part number 3 very, very soon.